In the name of the one who is the peace and gives peace. Dear viewers, welcome to our program 50 Ways to Happiness. This is Ways 38. Slavery. Slavery can lead to unhappy life. It can lead to a stressful life. It can lead to anxiety, depression, meaningless life. Life full of misery. But you would probably say, where's the slavery? I am not slave. I mean, the slavery is finished. The time of slavery is finished. I understand that. There are different types of slavery. Of course, the first slavery that we all know, physical slavery, real slavery, that people being captive or people being sold to do things, and they were not happy, but they had no choice. So this slavery is not something that I'm gonna refer to now. However, this slavery also may exist in some part of the world now that we are talking. So the other slavery that I'm referring to is worldly slavery. For example, money. Sometimes people become slave to money and wealth. So slavery means limiting your ability. So for example, a man or a woman who was slave, they were limited. They couldn't do certain things. So they limited themselves, or people put limitation on them. So now money can do the same thing to you. If you're crazy about money and you worship money and you're thinking about money and wealth 24/7, you're limiting yourself. Money is controlling you. So people who become like money addicted or wealth addicted, of course they are going to be limited only to money, and they lose so many other things. For example, we have seen it. It's not something that I'm making this up. We have seen that people who are crazy about money, collecting money, pursuit of money, majority of these people, they lose their kids. They lose their spouse, and their relationship breaks down because they put money and they give value to money more than their wife. They give value to money more than their husband. They give value to money more than their parents, their sister, their brothers. So they become slave to money, and this leads to meaningless life. So what are you going to do with all this money? If you lose your family, if you lose your wife, if you lose your kids, if you lose your relatives, what are you going to do with money? So slavery is not just real slavery. People become slave to money. Number 3, people become slave to power. They use all means, all techniques. No matter if someone is suffering, they just want to get power. And we have seen a lot of dictatorship in our age, how they collapse, how their power finished, and they're gone. So whenever we see this type of dictatorship that falls, so many people become happy, and you don't want to lead that path, which is path of distraction. And number 4, fame. People become slave to fame, to name, status, and they use all shameful act to become famous. And actually some become famous by doing wrong things or doing shameful act. They become famous, but how many of these, famous individual who use wrong means to become famous, and eventually they become famous, and some of them brought shame on themselves, and some of them become depressed and they cannot sleep. They need to get some kind of medication to sleep. And how many times they had divorce, how many times some of them went to jail for being involved with drug dealer, all these things, because of the fame, and they used wrong channels to become famous. So they became slave to fame. And number 5, become slave to lust and desire. There are so many people, they are slave to their desire. They are limited. The only thing about how to, relieve their desire, how to, pursue their lust. So at the end of the day, they are tired. They are not happy. They search for these kind of, ways to, they pursue their lust and desire, and then when you look at their life, they're not happy. So now, where is the happiness? So slavery, the first slavery is bad, limit people. The second slavery to money, being slave to money, being slave to power, being slave to fame, being slave to your lust and desire. They all bring misery, shame, distraction to your soul and to your heart and to your life. So what's the solution? How we can approach this matter? Number 1, look at the money as means, not goal. Money is good if you look at it as means. Number 2, if you're seeking power, seek power with good intention to help people, to help yourself, to help your family, to help your community, to help humanity. If you have good intention, if you reach that position, or if you become powerful, or you get power, at least you have good intention, you would help people. If you can't get it, you're not going to suffer. Because people who have good intention, even if they cannot reach their goal, they're not going to suffer. But if you have bad intention while you're pursuing your goal, you may be continuously suffering. So number 4 or number 3, seek fame by in order to become famous, you have to be good. If you're good and use the good channels to become famous, you would leave positive legacy for generation to come and follow. Because what's the benefit of becoming famous if people would curse you after you leave this world? What's the benefit? What's the benefit of becoming famous if you become famous and you become more miserable? So you don't want to follow that path. So it's very important for us to not be slave to money, to power, to fame, and to lust. In order to do that, be slave to your Creator. So if you're slave to your Creator, you're created here to serve Him. So once you get that foundation solid, then other things would come. money would come, power would come, good fame would come, and you would also balance your desire. So God created this desire in you. It's in you. So if you believe in God and you serve God, then you're not gonna become slave to your lust and your desire. Your desire is for your pleasure, but it should be within the limit that your Creator gave permission. So I hope you will find this episode useful about slavery in relation to happiness and good life. If you do, please make sure you share this with your friends and followers. Thank you so much.